So we're going to start in Savasana. So just lay on your back and just settle in, whatever's comfortable for you. Just come into the space, come into the moment. So for the next hour, we're not going to think about all the things we haven't accomplished, all the things we have to do. I'm just going to stay right here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if anybody has a block or a water bottle, some sort of a stable device they can lean on. I'm going to try and get into half moon at the end of class. But if you don't, you can always modify it or feel free to not go as deep as you might otherwise. So yeah, lay on your back. Find a comfortable spot. Just wiggle back and forth with the hips. Let your feet be wide. Let your palms face the ceiling. And we'll work your shoulder blades. Open and close the mouth a few times and release the jaw. Let the tongue come down from the roof of your mouth. And take a moment of relaxation. Coming into the space. So throughout class, just to take a moment and check in and see if you can identify muscles that aren't necessarily helping you. Sometimes we're squeezing our glutes and it's just holding us back, not giving us that freedom. You just curl your toes under when you're nervous. And there's always that present stress in the jaw where you're just kind of clenching your teeth and holding all that anxiety in. And it's not to feel guilty if you're doing something, if you notice yourself. It's just to bring an awareness and acknowledging if you're doing it, it's okay. We don't have to change anything. Well, maybe next time we can do it a little better. And we'll make a different mistake. And that's okay too. So scan through your body, beginning at the crown of the head. Notice just what you're feeling, the sensations. You can feel an itch arise. Maybe draw your attention to it and just observe it. We'll begin to draw our attention to our breath. Notice the belly rise and fall. Notice the curve of the back and how the contact points change with the breath. We're a moving system. Let's begin to deepen our breath. So inhale fully through the nose. Feel the chest expand. Breathing out into the side ribs. Then exhale fully. At the end of the breath, draw your navel towards your spine. Inhale, feel the chest rise. Back of the ribs pushing into the earth. Trying to breathe deeply and fully, using the full potential of the lungs. Exhale, long and slow. Navel towards your spine. Let's take 3 intentional breaths. The first 2 will breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the third breath, we'll seal our lips and begin Ujjayi breath, our slight constriction of the back of the throat, where we imitate the sound of the ocean and have an audible breath. Inhale through the nose, chest rises. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale long and slow through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose. Seal the lips and exhale, still audibly through the nose. Very nice. If you shut your eyes, flutter them open. Let's bend our knees and just place them as if for a bridge position so you can reach and brush the backs of your heels with your fingertips. And we'll just bring awareness to the feet. So do 1 foot at a time, raise the right toes, keeping the heel on the mat, and then set them down, feeling the edges of the feet. Then raise the left front of the foot, and then set them down, pushing through the toes. And maybe we'll put down the pinky toe side of the foot first and do a pronation, so rolling across the front of the foot until the big toe mound pushes down. Identify the different aspects. Feel through the legs. You feel the shins getting a little tired. We're not working too hard, we're just waking up. And now we'll draw our right leg up to the sky. So flex those toes back towards the body. And we're going to pay attention to the hips. So notice where the weight is in the hips and the contact points through the whole lower back. We're going to rotate the toes towards the outside of the foot, keeping the leg nice and straight, and then rotate it all the way to the inside. So maybe you put your hand on your hip. You can feel your glutes engage as you rotate to the outside, and then they release when they rotate to the inside. This is part of your glute medius here, gluteus medius. It's a very important muscle for walking, and a lot of people don't have that as developed as they should. And maybe there's other reasons for it, but it could be just the lack of development in your glute med that makes people walk funny. You know, we do a lot of walking, or I hope we do. One more to the inside, one more to the outside, and then set the right foot down. We'll raise our left foot. So bring our hand to our left hip if you like. Extend through that left heel so your energy is really reaching out through the heel. The toes are flexed back towards the body. And then rotate the heel in and the toes out. And then bring the toes in, the heel out. The leg is nice and straight. Just notice turning the glutes on, the glutes off. And so when we end up in half moon, the glutes will be mostly on, but not all the way on, like a 70% on. So it's good to just practice a little bit. You know, it seems like a simple thing, but the hips are really tricky. You know, they're really tight and then they're too loose. So, all right, let's set it down. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. Bring our hands down by our sides, palms face down, and we'll just lift our spine one vertebra at a time. So we're going to push our soles together, push our feet down into the mat, squeeze our glutes, and just gently rise up, staying with the breath, and then exhale, moving one vertebra at a time, laying down the tailbone at the end, and just go through moving with your own breath. I often say inhale, rise. What if your body is doing the opposite? You know, just go with what's feeling good. Just keep the breath is there for your focus. And if something's working for you, allow it to work. Squeeze those glutes. Let those muscles assist. And one more. And we're going to plant our feet again, and we're going to do the same thing, but these just a floating bridge lift. So squeeze the glutes, let the hip rise, and then release and roll down. Just wake up that spine, checking in. Maybe your neck is a little crimped. Maybe you tuck that chin just a little bit. Just feel the front of the hips open. All right, next one, we're going to stay at the top. We're going to bring our weight into our left foot. We're going to raise our right foot up and draw it to our chest, not overextending, and then set it back down. And we'll march with our left foot, so bring the left knee up towards the chest, and then set it down. We'll do a few more on each side. A little marching. Feeling that body, feeling the weight shift. I'm trying to keep it nice and centered. All right, one more on each side. And then set it down. Let's grab behind our knees and just rock up, float up and back. And the next time we come up, we'll pause and bridge. So you can just have your feet floating. Notice your crunch forward so you can open up through the chest. Maybe you can straighten your legs or release your hands. But if you're holding your legs, that's just fine, wherever you're at today. And let's roll back one more time. And we'll cross our ankles and come into a tabletop. So we'll get into our, let's try our wrists here. So let's put at the top of our wrists, fingers facing towards us, top of the hand on the mat. And you can put the weight more into your heels, like so lean back, and or you can lean forward. You can take some gentle pulses. Staying with Ujjayi breath. And as you're ready, you can place the top palms down, fingers towards the body, and do a similar thing. Maybe you can handle a little more weight and lean forward or lean back. And then as we're ready, we'll place our fingertips facing the front of the mat. Spread our fingers nice and wide. Draw those pinkies in 2 millimeters so they're not overextended. Hips stacked right over. We'll just take a couple of cat-cows. Just keep that spine limbering up. So let the belly drop and then rise up. And notice those glutes. So when you're rounding your spine, you squeeze those glutes all the way. When you get to that, as your head comes down, and then you release and slowly expand, your head floats up. Just moving one vertebra at a time. Being mindful of the weight in your hands, trying to distribute it. Pushing down more through the, equally, but particularly through the base of the index finger and the base of the thumb. And let's come pause at a flat back. We're going to raise our right knee to the outside and just take some big circles. So maybe you can keep it local, or maybe you extend through the leg. And pay attention to the weight in your hands. And then reverse the circles. They call this the fire hydrant. If you ever wanted to imitate your dog. And then we'll set it down. We'll go to the other side. Raise that left leg high and draw it back, just finding the edge of that hip. And I know my hips are not even. Yours are probably not either. And then reverse the circles. And then bring it back down. Let's plant our hands intentionally. We'll tuck our toes, raise the hips to the sky, and reach our heels down, downward facing dog. So paddle it out, bend one knee and the other. Pushing down to the hands so the weight isn't driving into the wrists. Releasing through the shoulders. And as you're ready, Bend your knees, gaze between your hands. We'll draw our shoulders over our wrists. Fingers spread nice and wide. Push down to the base of that index finger. Let your hips be heavy. Reach out through your heels. You're always welcome to drop your knees. Extending out to the heels, that line of energy extending through the crown of the head. Exhale, raise your hips, downward facing dog. I always worry when I prepare a class. I'm like, I just did this. I do this every week. And I'm like, I do this every day. This is just how I warm up. So let's do it one more time. Draw the shoulders over the wrists. Extend back through the heels, forward to the crown of the head. And then raise the hips. Come up onto your tiptoes. Push down to the hands. Feel it raise up through the shoulders, and then reach your heels down towards the mat. And then lower our knees, spread them nice and wide. Lower the forehead, come into child's pose. Let the hips settle back. Wiggle them a little bit side to side. Now we'll walk our hands forward, or come onto our bellies, however you call that. We'll come into Sphinx pose, so elbows right underneath our shoulders. And if this is too tight, you can walk your elbows forward, whatever's comfortable. So we're going to draw our elbows into the mat, and then draw your elbows back towards the hips without actually moving them. So you're kind of dragging yourself forward on the mat. You can engage your legs, so push the pinky toe side of your feet into the mat, kind of lifting your knees. Sphinx pose. And let's roll over onto our left side and support our head with our elbow. We call this the model's pose. They don't actually call it, I don't know what the pose is. It is a real thing though. And see if you're going to use your right hand as a kickstand. Let's see if you can minimize that, the weight you use it. And so the left leg, the bottom side is engaged. And so find that balance. It's much trickier than I would prefer it to be. I'm always like, this should be so easy, but it's not. Or it is. Whatever you make it to be. Changes by the day. And now we're going to bring our left elbow under our shoulder again. We're going to come into a supported side plank. So extend those legs, raise those hips up. Maybe you can raise your arm up, or maybe you support yourself and use a kickstand with your foot. Breathing nice and deep. And then lower that hip down, come back onto your belly. We'll go to the other side. We'll model on the right side. We'll find that length through the right side. Relax, knowing how beautiful you are inside and out. You're the best person that you can be. Well, most of the time, and you're allowed exceptions. Want to live without guilt. Living with intention. And let's draw that right elbow. Help ourselves. So right elbow under the right shoulder. Come up onto the right outside edge of the foot. So you can rise up. No shame in using that kickstand. Set your left foot behind. And you can raise your left arm up. And the gaze can go up if you've got that balance. Pushing down evenly through your forearm. And then set it down. We'll come onto our bellies and let our forehead come down to the mat. Hands come down by the sides, palms face up. And we're going to inhale and feel our shoulders lift and our head will follow. So engage those, push the tops of the feet down into the mat, hips stay on the ground. Locust pose, so you can draw your shoulder blades together. And then exhale, stack your hands. Let your head, use them as a pillow and let your head come down. You maybe wiggle your hips side to side. Let yourself unwind. Maybe you can bend your knees and do some windshield wipers, letting both feet fall to the one side and then the other. And then set them down. And we'll come back, forehead to the mat, palms at the sides. And we'll do just the feet this time. So shoulders stay down. Inhale, raise the legs, extending through the pointed toes. Breathing nice and deep, even in a constricted form. And exhale, lower down. We'll do it one more time. We're bringing the both parts together. So inhale, raise the shoulders, let the feet float up. The hands might float up. And breathe nice and deep. Finding that little rocking motion. Exhale, set it down. Place your hands under your shoulders, tuck the toes, push back up to plank, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Your head is heavy, shake it yes, shake it no. Bend your knees, walk your hands to the front of the mat, and forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows. Each of these poses accesses a slightly different part of the body. So they're mostly simple, but it helps you have the tools to find what you need. Let's let our arms be heady, bend our knees nice and deep, and roll up. Take 3 breaths. Roll up one vertebra at a time. Shrug the shoulders to your ears. And then squeeze the shoulder blades together, open the palms towards the front. Find a nice little grounding breath. Inhale, feel that invisible string gently tugging from the ceiling, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, ground down to the heels, pushing into the 4 corners of the feet. Base the big toe mound, base the big pinky toe mound, and both corners of the heel. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale. Inhale, extend your fingertips out and up, really intensely reaching out. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, lead with the crown of the head and fold. Bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze your shoulders together as your crown of your head reaches forward and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Long flat back, shoulder blades squeeze. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Really reaching out as you reach up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to step our right foot back, low lunge. So let's check in with all our things. I'm going to have my camera on the feet. I think that's more important to see through this sequence. So if you can't see my head, I'll try and describe where we're at. So find your hips. Your left hip's probably reaching forward, so draw your right hip forward and your left hip back. Left knee is right over your left ankle. Right heel is active and lifted, so reaching energy out through that right heel. Low lunge. Now we're gonna just lower that right knee. Let it come down to the earth. Untuck the toes. Maybe you can reach your hands up onto your knee. And notice where your hips, if your left hip inched forward, bring that awareness back and draw that right hip back forward. And draw your pinkies together so you're opening up your upper back. So if you draw your backs of your hands together, you can feel it in the back. But if you open your pinkies up and then you rise up, and you squeeze your inner thighs together, rooting down to that front heel, putting energy back into the pinky toe side of the top of the foot and the right foot. Let's lower that left arm and lean our right arm over, opening up that side body. Keeping those legs nice and stable. The hips down, nothing moved. Or very subtly if it did. Inhale, rise back up. And let's return to low lunge. So lower your hands. And then walk our left foot to the outside of our right hand. So walk the heel toe it over to the outside of the mat and come back into our lizard. So left foot is on the outside. And you're welcome to raise that right knee. And you can have slight pulses forward and back. It's fine, accessing the hidden points of the hip. So wherever you're feeling it, you're welcome to lower that back knee and untuck the toes. You can flex your left foot and let the knee fall to the outside. Whatever's feeling good. Everybody's hips are very unique, we could all say. And not just each person, but each hip. So your other side is going to be different. So expectations to keep it the same are not necessary. All right, let's tuck our back toes, raise the hip and step it back to plank, and then raise our hips downward facing dog. A little bit easier to access. So take a couple breaths here, pushing down, re-engaging through the hands. And bend your knees, gaze between the hands, step your right foot forward. Find that low lunge, draw that right hip back. Make sure your knee is stacked right over the heel, reaching out energy through the back heel. And as you're ready, you can lower that back knee, untuck the toes. As you're ready, you squeeze your inner thighs together, root down through the front heel, push down to the back of the foot. Inhale, feel the invisible string. Find your hands, rotate the palms towards each other. Pinkies rotate in towards each other. And then rise up, keeping your legs nice and strong. Breathing nice and deep. So relaxing. And then we're going to lower our right arm and lean over to the right with the left hand up. Whatever that access is. No need to push it. Your sensitive areas. Inhale. Return to center and let's lower our hands. Let's bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot and heel toe the right foot to the outside. Let's start out, tuck the back toes, tuck the left toes, and reach energy back out through that heel. A variation of lizard. And so you can take your gentle pulses forward and back. And let the hips be heavy. Neck's in a comfortable position. And you have the option to lower that back knee. Maybe you can come onto your block, bring forearms down. I try and give options here, so there's no one right answer. If I say one thing and you want to do another, do the other thing. And just a guide. Yeah, yoga just, it's a time to just be with your body, you know, be with an experiment and try and make yourself feel better. So if you're doing something very different than I'm doing, that's okay too. As long as you don't get hurt. That's what we're trying to avoid. And now as we're ready, We'll tuck those back toes, step back plank, and then raise the hips, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Relax through the shoulders, let the head be heavy, shake it yes and no. And then find a breath of stillness and focus. Let's flex our right toes, bring the weight into our left foot. We're going to raise that right foot high to the sky. Stack our hips, bend our right knee, and look under our left shoulder. And then unstack the hips, straighten that right leg, and step your right foot forward, low lunge. So finding that nice stacked knee over ankle. And again, we're going to go into warrior two soon. So what the big thing is that your knee is going to fall to the inside. So you want to be able to see those first two toes. And so yeah, if you want to bring your right hand to the outside of your right knee and just practice pushing to the outside, that's the energy you want to bring. So here we go. We're going to push down, root down into the front right heel, extend out through the left heel. Inhale, rise up, high lunge, squeezing those thighs together. Finding that nice stability. We're going to lower the right arm and gaze follows as we rotate the torso towards the right. The hips stay nice and level. The energy through the heels. And then inhale, follow it back up and around. High lunge. Now we're going to lower the left hand. The gaze will follow. And we're going to rotate our back foot down and perpendicular. So you're into a warrior two. So you want to shorten your stance here in the beginning, that's okay. You just want to look down and be able to see your first two toes. So pushing down to the outside edge of that back foot. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, try and get vertical. And exhale, we're going to lower the right elbow towards the right knee. And it can rest on the knee, but it's not supporting. Then we're going to sweep the left hand down and around, come into our side angle. So low body is nice and stable. You have the option to reach that right hand down. So yeah, the weight, your elbow is not like leaning all your weight into your front leg. You're supporting, it's just a placeholder. Then inhale, return to warrior two. Extend forward, invert the palm. Exhale, reach forward, reach back. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, return to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. Shift through the hips, so shift your hips towards the back of the mat. And then we're going to lean forward. Keep leaning all the way. A little bit further. Then we're going to keep our arms just how they are and rotate the torso. So your right hand comes to the outside of your right calf. Left hand reaches up. And see if you can grab a hold of that calf wherever you're at. And just yank, just gently pull up so your legs don't move. Breathing nice and deep. Triangle, reaching out in all directions. Inhale, bend through that in the front knee, rise up, warrior two. Find a moment of peace. And then exhale, windmill the hands down, downward facing dog. You're welcome to come through a vinyasa. If that's in your practice, you can take a child's pose. You can stay right here in downward facing dog. Whatever's suiting you today. And then we'll meet back up in down dog. Let's bring intention to our feet. So in order to do that, let's push down to the hands, that base of the index finger. The fingertips are clawing into the mat. Bring the weight into the right foot. So keeping the weight spread distributed. Flex those left toes. Reach that left heel towards the sky. And then stack the hips. Left hip over right. And bend the knee. Noticing the weight in the hands. Wiggle the toes. Inhale, unstack the hips. Gaze between the hands and step forward, low lunge, opposite side. So find those hips. Extend energy down to the front heel. Knee is stacked right over your ankle. Extend energy over the back heel. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Find that stability. Inhale, rise up. If your hips are drawing forward or back, see if you can bring them back in. So right hip slightly forward, left hip slightly back, most likely. Feel that gentle tug as you inhale from the crown of the head. Energy reaching down through the front heel, reaching out to the back heel. I'm going to lower that left hand and watch it as we rotate our torso in that direction. Find that gentle twist. Neck is going whatever direction is comfortable. And inhale, bring it back up. High lunge. Now we're going to lower that right hand and follow that. Rotate our right heel down. Find our warrior two. Check in with that front leg. Stack that knee right over the ankle. And if you need to, you can shorten your stance. And if it's way too easy, you can lengthen it back a little bit. Look down, make sure you see those first two toes. If not, your knee is probably coming inside. And so you put your hand on the outside of your knee and gently push into it with your knee. Just that little reminder, that tangible. So energy pushing through the outside of the back foot. Crown of the head rises. Now we're alive. Let's draw our left elbow towards the left knee and find that place. Draw our right hand up and around so the upper arm is by the ear. Gaze can go up or down, keeping that back leg active. And inhale, return to warrior two. Take a glance down at your front toes, nice and aligned. Inhale, lean forward, invert the palm and reverse. Right hand can slide down the back of the right leg. Maybe lean into that front knee a little bit more so it remains stacked. Inhale, return to warrior two. Straighten that front leg, shift the hips towards the back of the mat. Then you reach forward, keep reaching. Legs are nice and strong. Rotate the torso, arms. Left hand comes to the outside of the left calf. Right arm reaches for the ceiling. Legs are pushing down in opposite directions. Maybe you can grab that left calf and give it a gentle tug and find that space in the left side body. Beautiful, beautiful triangles. Inhale, bend through that front knee, find your warrior two. Find that moment. And exhale, windmill the hands down, downward facing dog. All right, so one more time, we're gonna do an abbreviated version of that, but we're gonna come into a half moon pose. And so it's really hard on the balance and the body proportions aren't there. So I really like having a block, or you can use a water bottle, or you're welcome to take any variation you like. So from down dog, we're going to step our left foot forward into low lunge. Find the hips, spin the right foot down, rise up, warrior two. So I like having my block in my hand already, but we can do it however you like. And then you just bounce that back foot forward. Keep the hip stacked. And then raise that right foot kind of to parallel. So you're reaching energy back through that back foot. Right arm rises high to the sky. Yeah, this one takes a while. There's a lot of muscles going on. And as you're ready, float down back into warrior two. Take that beautiful moment. Exhale, windmill the hands, downward facing dog. Let's step our right foot forward. Spin that back foot down and come into warrior two again. Find your position. If you have a block or a water bottle, you can be holding it in your hand. Now we're going to shorten our stance, bounce forward a little bit. Lean forward. Energy out through that lifted leg. Pushing out to the heel. Raise the left hand up. Nice balance. Some of us, as you're ready, let's float it back down. Windmill the hands down. Downward facing dog. Let's come right into a pigeon. So raise our right leg high to the sky. See the hips are nice and level. We'll bring our right ankle to our left wrist. And then subtly set it down. So in the picture books and the magazines, your right calf will be parallel to the front. Well, mine isn't. So wherever it is, so sit up nice and tall, look behind you. Make sure that back foot is not going off in a strange direction. And then sit up nice and tall. Then exhale. Walk your hands forward. Maybe you come down to your forearms. Yeah. Yeah, I've never had people come to both of my classes, the Wednesday night and the Thursday morning. So I've just do the same thing mostly. And surprisingly, I've been more impressed with with my Wednesday night classes, like you think you'd learn, but I always try and add new stuff in. So wherever you're at, you can walk your arms forward. If it's too much, you can readjust, come back a little bit. Just let the weight come into your hips. It's not a fast stretch. Staying with your breath. Relaxing through the jaw. Just being at ease. And as you're ready, we'll walk our hands back, place them down, tuck the back toes, raise that right leg high, and set it down. Pedal it out. Notice the difference in the sides of the body. And then we'll raise our left foot high to the sky. And bring our left ankle towards our right wrist. And then set it down. Walk our hands back, sit up nice and tall. Gaze behind you. See that foot is not cattywampus. And then as you're ready, keep that length in the spine. Walk down to your forearms or maybe your block. Whatever's there. Feeling free to adjust. Let it suit your body. Checking in with the jaw. Keeping your mind focused. A couple more minutes here. And as you're ready, let's push back, place your hands down. Reach that left leg high to the sky, and then set it down. Let's come to a wide-legged standing position. As you're ready, just shake it out. We'll take a a moment to spread our legs. And the feet are just in the same direction as the knees. Let's just let our arms float up. The crown of our head floats up. Take a few breaths. Feel the lightness, the relaxation in the shoulders. Let's place our hands on our hips and hinge at the hips and fold forward. And let your arms come down and adjust your stance as you like. You walk your hands back. So don't lock out your knees. Keep a slight bend in the knees. And walk your heels or your hands in line with the heels of your feet. You bend your elbows and draw your head towards the mat. This is your tripod headstand. It's not quite there yet. Let's rotate our fingers back towards the back of the mat and walk our hands as far as we can reach. Relaxing through the neck. Maybe take those slight pulses, bring your weight forward and back on the feet. And then return your hands down in front of you, under the shoulders. And let's heel toe the feet in all the way so they're about hip width. And then come into a squat. And if the heels are up, you can roll the back of your mat up. And just give yourself something. But if your feet are flat, that's okay. And so we'll take a moment and try and work our shoulders under our knees. And so this could be enough. So you're bring your palms together and squeeze your thighs into your upper arms and push your upper arms back into your thighs. So you find that isometric. And you're welcome to stay here. But if you're going to explore crow, you can lean forward and place your hands down about a foot in front of your body and keep the legs squeezing into the arms pushing back. And then you can just come up onto your tiptoes maybe and keep your gaze reaching forward. And maybe your toes come off the ground, or maybe you just find those gentle pulses. Wherever you're at. I know it's just fine if you stay in that squat. All right. Let's come down onto our backs. And draw our knee up to our chest, our right knee to the chest, left leg extends out. And just explore that hip joint one more time. Moving it around in a circle, outside, inside. Feeling it's connected to the low back. And as you're ready, we'll extend our right hand out, palm face down. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee and draw it over to the left. And you can lift your hips, unwind the spine. Gaze can go over the right shoulder. Keep your attention with the breath. And as you're ready, inhale, unwind. Draw that knee back in, extend it out, and draw your left knee up to your chest. And make some small circles with the hip. Done a lot of work. Hopefully it'll feel good later. And as you're ready, extend that left hand out, palm face down, right hand to the outside edge of your left knee, and draw your right knee over to the right, left knee over to the right. Find that twist. Unwind the spine by lifting your hips slightly. Your neck is comfortable. Relax through your jaw, finding all those muscles that are not needed. And inhale as you're ready. Draw both knees to the chest. Rock back and forth on your spine or side to side. Back and forth is not a good direction. And as you're ready, if you like, you can find a happy baby. Maybe do a half happy baby by grabbing the outside of one foot. And see if you can keep that tailbone down on the mat. Take a slight tuck to the chin. Whatever your body's looking for. As you're ready, we'll unwind and meet in Savasana. So if you have a sweatshirt or a blanket you'd like to use to place over you and keep you warm, we'll transition to letting the body fully relax. So extend the legs out nice and wide, probably mat width. Let the feet fall to the outside. Roll your shoulder blades under so your chest can expand. Palms face the ceiling. Release control of the breath. Intentionally scan through the body, beginning at the crown of the head. And release the muscles. Letting the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. All the muscles in the face. The muscles in the shoulders. Release your hips. Let the legs be heavy. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring small movements back to the body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Begin to roll your limbs in and out. As you're ready, lengthen through the legs, draw your feet together, clasp your hands and draw them up overhead, inverting the palms, pushing through the heels, finding that full body stretch. And draw your knees to your chest and give yourself a big hug. And thank yourself for coming to class today. By improving yourself, you're improving the world. You're contributing. And as you're ready, roll onto one side. Take a full round of breath. Use both hands to help yourself up to a seat. We're going to close class with 4 rounds of Brahmari. We did this a couple weeks ago. It's basically a hum. So you're welcome to participate or just sit and appreciate the moment. So you can be any pitch, any tone. We'll sit up nice and tall. So inhale through the nose, feel the crown of the head lengthen. And exhale and hum. Thank you for coming to class today. The spirit in me recognizes and respects the spirit in you. Namaste.